Welcome all everyone here in Fuji Speedway. Here we are going to be racing here in the 2023 Hololive GT3 Japan Series. We will be racing Split B today, as we've already raced Split A yesterday. And with that, we've already seen who the race winner was yesterday. But first, we want to take a look into the track map for round 1 of the season, Our Bright Parade 500 at Fuji Speedway. And today we'll be racing here at this track near Shizuoka, Fuji Speedway. Track length 4.5 kilometers in length. We have 16 corners in total, a total lap count of 55 laps for about 250 kilometers. We are currently about to race the next 250 kilometers of the total 500 kilometers that we have advertised. We're looking at a target lap times of 1:41.912 for today, after Christoph Salmerman broke the initial target lap time for 1:41.8. This is a split round, meaning that this is basically the second of 2 split races that we'll be racing here in this round. We've already raced Split A yesterday, and we're now going to be racing Split B today. It's the Hololive GT3 Japan Series' opening round as well for the 2023 season, and we have made corrections. It's no longer 25 cars in A and 26 cars in B, but instead 18 cars have raced in Split A, and another 17 will race here in Split B. And now we'll be taking a look into the entry list for Split B. We have seen some new changes as well. Just gonna need to check, so apologies if I have to switch mics. Anyways, here's the Split B entry list. We have seen some driver changes, like for example in the Minato Aqua Nissan, Gruffin Wheatley replaces Aquamarine Jensen in the Minato Aqua Nissan. And then we have Miguel Castro, after some time off from Hololive GT3, returns as a temporary driver to basically fill in for the Usada Pecora Honda. The performance will be up for debate as to how rusty Castro will be come qualifying and the race. And Lorenzo Ricci replaces also the outgoing Jake Fox in the Hoshomori Lexus. Note that also we need to mention Miguel Castro has replaced Katrin Vasilyeva in the entry list. And also we have the remaining names that we have: Charles Thompson, Vladislav Damashnev, Richie Rod, Bon Air. We have Kizuhara Leo looking to win on the same day as Murasaki Shion's birthday stream. So watch out for Kizuhara Leo. He might be able to pull up a surprise. Jeff Clark as well, Andrew Rakhimbayev is also in this entry list. Althusser Antanara in the Nekomata Kayu Nissan is looking to do better damage after he was supposed to enter in the 2022 season, but due to internal issues he couldn't. Sean Pauli, we would want to mention that he's currently in uncertain future in his time in Hololive GT3 and Formula Hololive. So Sean Pauli will want to make his time at Fuji Speedway count. Yukikaze Kai, Daniel Bolatev will be competing in the Kanatoa cars in Split B after moving on from Split A. There's a good amount of who went from Split A to Split B. Alex Grant is now in the Yukihana Lamy Honda. Mohamed Shakib Reza is in the Moses Nissan. And also replacing Thomas Snooks is Kento Kai in the Shishiro Botan Lexus. And with that out of the way, we're not going to be showing you guys the championship order at the moment, because obviously we haven't given them points as of yet. But whatever the case is, let's head into the qualifying session finally for Split B. I'm Mohamed Shakib Reza in the commentary booth, and alongside me is not your usual Zeke Wimberly, but another person by the name of Sean Golisle, who have raced yesterday in the Kazama Iroha Nissan. So, Sean Golisle, it's a great day here in Fuji Speedway for the Split B cars to race. Share your thoughts.
Well, I think for Fuji Speedway, the first corner is definitely where we will have to watch out a lot, because the drivers might be forcing and pushing each other out. And of course, we have also 100R, which if you don't make the corner correctly, you might end up too wide and going out of the track. Then we also have Sector 3, starting from Dunlop all the way to Panasonic Corner, which is very twisty, and it's definitely a good place for the Lexus cars to overtake anyone.
Well, we wanted to mention this as well. The Nissans are very good on the straight with that VR38 EDTT engine under the hood. The Nissans will definitely make it count on the straights, but in the corners they will be a sitting duck. But opposite to the Nissans, the Lexus cars, they will be very good in the corners. You can see how stable the Lexus cars are in the corners. And how quick they can take these corners, so watch out for them as they head into the cornering section of the track. But with only 540 horsepower relative to the Nissan 600, they will not be too much of a factor on the straights. So Shangalal, you've already done a lap here in the Kazama Iroha Nissan. How about we take you on board the number 19 Aki Rosenthal Lexus for a hot lap here in Fuji? So Sean, can you share us your hot lap analysis?
Yeah, sure. So now we just reached the start and finish line, the very long straight, which the Nissans will definitely excel at. But sadly, yesterday I wasn't doing that good. And we reached very high speed all the way down, shifting down gear, coming to the first corner, and now getting to the second corner now, and we also have a short straight, and then getting into the Coca-Cola corner. And after exiting Coca-Cola corner, this corner is very easy to mess up, as we saw yesterday, coming to 100R. And Domaschev drives very well. Now coming to the left turn and heading to a 300R. And I think this is, yeah, we are now to the Dunlop corner now, and starting from here, most people might mess up a lot because of the curve, the elevation, and also some slippery parts. And especially we saw yesterday how me also spun out at corner 13 and can't be able to restart up his car and ends up losing the race, getting a DNF. Here we come exiting the next corner, coming to corner 13. Correction, it's actually a Panasonic corner. And we're back to this long straight line.
So pretty good analysis there from Sean Galile, though we need to give you a bit of correction. We haven't seen any drivers properly making a mistake at the 100R yesterday. But however, we have seen some near airborne moments from the Lexus cars at the Dunlop chicane because they took the curbs way too harshly. And for the Panasonic corner, we saw both Tim Eno spinning himself out on lap 1, and also Hofu Mi spinning out battling against Daniel Bauer on lap 26. And looking at the timing sheets at the moment, Richie Rod is currently setting the provisional pole time in the number 22 Shirakami Fubuki Nissan. Richie Rod, also veteran here, starting to become a veteran here in the series, have been very fast in the postseason. I believe he finished 3rd place in the postseason, so a lot of expectations for him, and right now he is showing. But also Kizuhara Leo, because look at his lap time, he set a 1:41.9. Already we have 2 drivers beating the target lap time record. But right now we also want to take a look into the returning Althusser and Tanarao in the Nekomata Akayu Nissan. 4 tenths behind. And now we see Sean Pauli making his time work out. And just a bit of a showcase right now. We're going to go on board on the number 56. We're going to show you this helmet that Sean Pauli have made for Hololive GT3. It's actually an amazing helmet there.
It looks very good.
Yeah, so we wanted to mention that Sean Pauli have been, there was a competition in our server where we basically asked them to make a Hololive member team helmet. Well, at least 30% of it has to be themed after the Hololive member. You see the doodles there on the right side of his helmet? That is actually a doodle made by Inugami Korone herself. And also worth mentioning are the Sega branding on the helmet. This is also indicative of Inugami Korone's current partnership with Sega. Obviously, we're also not sponsored by Sega, but this is just Sean Pauli's design. So we have 2 Kais. The purple Kai right here, the Amane Kanata Nissan, is driven by Yukikaze Kai. And this one is driven by Kento Kai. 2 different Kais, but there are basically two cars, but these two cars are absolutely different. This Kento Kai, obviously in his first Hololive GT3 start replacing Thomas Snooks, is doing very well in his first qualifying session, qualifying 12th. Let's take a look into the other first-timers. Oh yeah, Sean. Let's right now. We're not seeing you here at the moment, but for now we can still pick your existence. So yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, let's take a look back into, let's say, Griffin Wheatley in his first Hololive GT3 start. How do you think of his performance so far?
Well, as a former teammate of stuff in another series, well, I'd say he's actually a quick learner and actually very good on those tracks with a lot of corner. So we'll see how he'll manage the sector 3 with this Nissan, even though clearly at that sector he's gonna be a sitting duck for Nissan.
Well, we also wanted to mention to you that Griffin Wheatley replaces Aquamarine Jensen in this car for reasons that we will not be getting into detail. And also looking at Kizuhara Leo, 141.681. It's an amazing lap time, shatters the lap time record by 0.3 of a second and securing his provisional pole. So Kizuhara Leo is showing that he means business today in the Murasaki Shion Honda. And basically we do mention that today is the day Shion will be hosting her birthday live stream. We do want to mention that for Murasaki Shion, her birthday is actually on December 8th. But because of issues in the studio, mainly because of capacity and it was occupied at the time, Shion couldn't perform her birthday live stream at that day and had to postpone it to March 12th, which is today. And actually, we want to also mention that Shion will be hosting her live tonight. And I believe, maybe you want to check the date, it's either 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Japan time on her channel on YouTube. So if you are a Shioko, a Murasaki Shion fan, this might be a day for you to remember.
And Kizuhara is definitely trying very hard to let the Shion fans be happy today.
Yes, correct now. And looking into some of the other entrants, Bon Air going very well to place himself in 6th, and Tanara after some time off in Hololive GT3. He was supposed to race in the 2022 season, but due to a member being terminated, Antanara just couldn't enter in 2022. But with another driver leaving, we had Sergei Petrov registered in this car, but Antanara ends up replacing Sergei Petrov because Sergei Petrov has withdrawn from the entry. This was long before this week. And looking at a few bits of timing, Lorenzo Ricci, this is his first time in the Hosho Marine Lexus. This is his first time even in a Lexus. He hasn't been driving a Lexus before. He's only doing this to basically sub in for Jake Fox, who have also left the series before yesterday. So Lorenzo Ricci had been called up to be a replacement driver. So right now we have 17 cars in this track, but one of them have yet to pull up a lap time. And right now we have another Honda currently having issues. So I believe they have set enough somewhere in qualifying, and right now have currently damaged the car so much that they couldn't be able to set a lap time. It's Miguel Castro. So Miguel Castro, we want to give a bit of a recap. Miguel Castro had been driving in the Omar Polka Nissan in the 2022 regular season, and was supposed to drive the Kiryu Koko Lexus. He is a Tatsunoko, but he's a Tatsunoko first and foremost. But he is open to getting into other rides if the option is available. And for now, with so many driver changes at the moment, Miguel Castro sweeps in from his reserve role to basically take over the Usada Pecora Honda from Catherine Vasilieva. So for another bit of a backstory, if you want to see what is this logo right here, the two Japanese characters there, it means it's the year of the rabbit. 2023 is currently the year of the rabbit right now, and and at the moment he's currently stuck in the pits. He's not having the luck that he needs at the moment. So let's see if he can bounce back after just like what Christoph Salomon had done in the Split A race yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday he wasn't making any qualifying lap times, but still end up a very good position of P9.
And looking into the two Kais right now, it's currently a double Kai 6th row at the moment with Yukikaze leading Kento. So obviously these two drivers have a similar surname, but we'll try our best to differentiate between the two. The Yukikaze Kai, driving the Amane Kanata Nissan, has the purple besides the Kai and represents Amane Kanata. Meanwhile, the black colored Kai currently qualifying in 12 represents Shishir Botan and is driving the Lexus. So hopefully this helps you guys in differentiating between the two Kais out there. And looking into some of the other drivers at the moment, Charles Thompson actually did qualify at the back at one time, but has improved to 4th place. So currently it's 2 Nissans in the first 2 spots, a Soul Lexus in 3rd, and a Honda car on pole.
Yeah, Honda, well, referring to yesterday's race, well, Honda looks very stable in this track.
Yes, we do want to mention that what happened in the Split A race, the best Honda is by far Muhammad Shazin Reza, but was comfortably beat by Daniel Bauer and Calvin Gibbons after Shazin was unable to clear the traffic that is Crystal Salmonman. Shazin already made his first stop, but Crystal Salmonman managed to defend Shazin Reza off even after all that. So Shazin had to settle for 3rd place. Calvin Gibbons and Daniel Bauer were the best benefactors of Crystal Salmonman's very long overcut strategy. We'll explain what an overcut and an undercut strategy is in due time. And now we're seeing a funny battle here between the Mashnev and Leo, and it looks like both of them are still fighting even in this qualifying session. Vlasa Tomashnev is in 10th place, and he is currently representing Aki Rosenthal.
Someone has to go on and tell them to slow down. This is a qualifying lap, not a racing lap.
But of course, if any experiences, any on-track experience gained here at this moment is going to be very vital. This will basically teach them how to approach these racing lines. The Mashnev on the attack still, takes a lot of curve on the first part, but takes it easy on the second, and is still fighting. This is a fun scrap here in qualifying, but for Kizuhara Leo, he doesn't mind too much. And for the Mashnev, he probably doesn't mind either. He's already having a pretty decent lap in 10th place, but yeah, this is a very interesting scrap.
Don't forget, the top 15 will get points. If you don't qualify and race ends in the top 15, you will get no points at all.
Like what we've seen with the two DNFers and also, sadly, Shongalal Yu also didn't score any points. But it's a shame.
Yeah.
But of course, it happens. But of course, you'll be switching over to a different ride in next round, so it's not going to be too bad for you in the grand scheme of things. Meanwhile, let's take a look back into the first-timers in Hololive GT3, particularly Charles Thompson, the first time out in the Hoshimaki Suisei Nissan. We do have heard of the term Suichan wa Kyomo Kawai, which means Suichan, which is basically a nickname for Suisei, is cute today as well. So obviously we want to translate this into the racetrack. Suichan wa Kyomo Hayai, that means Suichan is also quick today. And Charles Thompson is showing that.
Goes all the way, flooring it on the straight line.
But right now, I don't think he'll be gaining too much time there, Sean. Oh, and actually, we wanted to update that. A 141.259 for Charles Thompson. We have mentioned. Yes, the slipstream, with the help of Richie Rod, allows Charles Thompson to beat Kizuhara Leo to the line in terms of qualifying times. And with a 141.259 and Kizuhara Leo not being able to improve, Charles Thompson might just be your pole sitter in the Suisei Nissan. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, the Nissan racers are definitely trying to be a teamwork here. Trying to do a teamwork here, sorry.
And right now we're looking at a few guys who are about to complete their lap times. Kizuhara Leo and Tomashnev.
Also has the slipstream now. Let's see if he can get and beat the fastest lap. Sorry.
I'm not gonna be confident about it. It's going to be no, not enough. It's a 142.8 for Kizuhara Leo. It's not going to beat Charles Thompson's lap time, but he has guaranteed a front row start unless Richie Rod has anything to say about it. Of course, Richie Rod is still ahead of Charles Thompson. Well, Charles Thompson obviously is now stuck behind traffic, but he doesn't mind too much. He has his pole secure, so he's gonna need to try to help secure Richie Rod's lap time. There's only 2 cars who have yet to cross the line, and it's gonna be these 2 cars.
Richie Rod?
Yes, into the main straight as Charles Thompson peels into the pit lane. 136 currently for Richie Rod. Will he be able to get into pole position? The answer is no. 8 tenths behind.
142.
It's gonna be Charles Thompson in his first Hololive GT3 start that gains pole position, and with Kizuhara Leo also getting a good time in. That's qualifying. That's the qualifying session over, as we're about to get into the starting lineup of all 17 cars who are about to enter in this race. I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, let's see. So we have Charles Thompson on the pole and on a very, very fast car on the straight, but let's just hope that he doesn't get any trouble at sector 3 and also doesn't get forced out at first corner.
And we also wanted to mention that the Lexus, the Nissan cars are absolutely horrible when it comes to accelerating off the line. So Kizuhara Leo might have a chance here. So Charles Thompson with a blistering 141.259 in that Suisei Nissan have secured pole position in the Hoshimachi Suisei Nissan. The Hoshiyomis are definitely going to be smiling here, as might be able to see Charles Thompson being able to convert this pole position into a race win. But of course, it's no guarantee, because Shazan also started on pole yesterday, but the winner was Daniel Bauer. Speaking of the Hondas, Kizuhara Leo, the fastest Honda NSX so far, and might be able to steal the lead from Charles Thompson. Representing Murasaki Shion on the same day she will be hosting her birthday stream, Kizuhara Leo has work to do to bring this car up front and to win this race. Richie Rod back in the saddle in the Shirakami Fubuki Nissan, qualifying 3rd. Jeff Clark doing very well to qualify 4th in the Nakiri Ayame Lexus. Althusser Antanarao in the Nekomata Okayu Nissan in car number 5 qualifies 5th. Bon Air in the Lexus car representing Natsuhiro Matsuri is in 6th place. Getting into row 4, Sean Pauli and Andrew Rakimbayev, both Gamers teammates, qualifying in the 4th row. Sean Pauli representing Inugami Korone. Pauli's having an uncertain time in Hall GT3 and Apollo. This might be Pauli's last weekend, but he will try, that means he will try to make it count for as much as he can. Andrew Rakimbayev qualifying 8th in the Okami Mio Honda. Ruffin Wheatley in his first Hall GT3 start, representing Minato Aqua in car number 9. He is qualified in 9th. Plaza Damashdev in the Akira Sato Lexus will qualify, is currently in 10th place in the Akira Sato Lexus. Yukikaze Kai in the Amane Kanata Nissan will start 11th, and Kento Kai is in 12th place in Kai row 6. So remember to differentiate between these two. Alex Grant qualifying 13th in the Yukihana Lamy Honda. Daniel Bolati with the recently sponsored UFO sponsored Tokiyami Toa Honda in 14th. Momashaki Reza, brother of Mama Shazan Reza, will want to try to make this count in the Momosuzu Nissan. Lorenzo Ricci, fastest of the drivers who set a time, will start 16th in the Hosho Marine Lexus, replacing Jake Fox. And Miguel Castleton set a time in the qualifying session after an issue that forced him out of qualifying, representing Usada Pecora in the first year of the Rabbit, or in the first race of the year of the Rabbit for Split B, and for Miguel Castro, it's not going to do very well for him. Anyways, we're going to transition over into the main race. So before we're going to start this race, I want to hear your thoughts on who's going to be your favorites to win.
My favorite is definitely the Hoshimachi Suisei Nissan. But also, let's just remember, yesterday, the guy who didn't qualify at all took 9th place. So I think there might be a chance Usada Pecora might repeat history again, or even make a better history.
So, so from Sean, he mentioned that it's going to be the Suisei Nissan who might be able to take the win. But my eyes are on Kizuhara Leo in the Murasaki Shion Honda. So let's get this race underway. 17 cars lined up here in Fuji Speedway. The Outright Parade 500 Split B is about to get underway. Charles Thompson on pole representing Suisei gets off the line pretty slowly as predicted. And look at Kizuhara Leo. He is storming away into turn 1.
Take the first place.
And right now, Kizuhara Leo is gonna try to.
4 wide.
Yes, 4 wide as well. Will there be contact? Yes, there's contact between. Oh, there's big contact between. That looks like Bon Air knocked out from the race just as they are about to enter turn 1. Bon Air very unlucky there for him to be collected in the crash early on in turn 1, and there is a massive shuffle between Andrew Rakhimbayev and Richie Rod. As you can see here, there's a lot of damage between the Fubuki Nissan, and there's a lot of shuffling between the field. And when I want to see if there are any more cars out, and then we have confirmation that Bon Air has retired from this race. Very unlucky from Bon Air, perhaps unluckier than even Tim Eno, who actually managed to at least complete Major Sector 3 before he got knocked out. But it's Kizuhara Leo leading in the Murasaki Shion Honda. Jeff Clark is in second. Charles Thompson is in third. We apologize if there has been some lagging at the moment. Richie Rod is in fourth. Rakhimbayev in fifth place. Domashnev sixth. Kento Kai jumps up to seventh place with a great start. Sean Pauli drops down to eighth. Althusser Antanarao is in ninth. And Lorenzo Ricci and also Daniel Bolotev are battling for the top 10 spots.
Very interesting strategies, everyone here.
And currently Kizuhara
Leo is gapping a lot. It's now 1 second in front of Thompson.
And currently Thompson might have one. And right now Thompson might want to have a say about it. Thompson peels down into the inside, already using the slipstream, but he might make a move way too early there. Take a look at Jeff Clark there, as he might want to take an attack.
Comes to the first corner here. Drives easily. But I was trying to defend a lot.
Ooh, there's a bit of jostling between Yukikaze Kai and Lorenzo Ricci there. Lorenzo Ricci trying his best to defend as much position as he can, as he's not embroiled in the battle once again with Balatev. Ricci gets pushed off wide slightly, but first of all, they manage to get themselves clean off. Will there be drivers going off wide? The answer is no. Balatev hangs around the outside of 100, which will be the inside for the hairpin. He might be able to make a dive bomb into the inside. Yes, he does. Let's see how they hang it into the Dunlop chicane.
Side by side right now. Not sure if they're gonna make it all the way and overtake it.
And looking into the timing charts right now, it's currently Lorenzo Ricci in 10th place, and 11th is Daniel Balatev. And currently, oh, there's a bit of a battle here. Will there be, some hard curb hitting for Balatev, which means Lorenzo Ricci might be able to defend P10. Balatev is currently in 11th place. Oh, still side by side, going just off wide there, nearly losing his car. Oh, as you can see here, Alex Grant just went off wide at turn 14, nearly loses the back end. Good thing he manages to catch the car. And looking into the battles here at the moment, Shakir Reza is currently still back at 16. Charles Thompson has stolen the fastest lap, already 5/10 faster than Kizuhara Leo on that previous lap. So anyways, let's take a look into the race field monitor to see how many more laps the drivers are going to be driving here at the moment. As you can see here, more battles between Sean Pauli and Kento Kai, as well as Daniel Balatev and Lorenzo Ricci. A lot of shuffling between these two. And let's get into the onboard of, let's say, Yukikaze Kai. Just kidding, because right now Kento Kai is currently battling with the other Kai. Pushes the Wotan Lexus car off wide, and right now it's stabilized. So right now, let's take a look back into the race field monitor. A lot of the drivers might want to hang it around between lap 21 to lap 36. That's your pit window. Obviously, if you pit early, you are going for the undercut strategy. While your opponents are stuck in traffic with worn tires, you pit and gain fresher tires and gain some time over them while you are having the faster car, and while they're being slower. And because when they pit and you manage to set in those fastest laps, you are able to get ahead of them at the end of the undercut strategy. Also, there has been the overcut strategy, but we'll explain that in a minute.
You might also want to watch out your fuel. You better not pit for wrong fuel volume, as yesterday I did very badly. Was thinking that the first pit stop was gonna make it all the way to the end, but end up having to pit another time because of not enough fuel.
We're currently getting into lap 4 on board Aldister and Tanaro in the number 5 Nekomata Okayo Nissan, and currently going down the inside of Vladislav Domashnev. Thompson, fastest lap 141.828, but Domashnev might want to have a say about it. But meanwhile, let's take a look back into the progress shot. Obviously, it's a bit inaccurate due to glaring issues with the timing chart. It didn't catch all of the drivers. But let's take a look back here, and looking at the gaps relative to the leaders here, Kizahara Leo is now only 3/10 ahead of Charles Thompson. The battle for the lead is currently very much alive.
At least this time we won't see what last time happened, where the leader is just in his own lead, while the second, third, and fourth drivers are just trying to battling out.
And just wanted to check.
Here they go.
Oh yes, but right now we're gonna be taking a look back into some of the battles here as well. In third place we have Jeff Clark in the number 18 Nakiri Ayame Lexus. And right now we're going to also be taking a look into Richie Raw, who's also in 4th, and Edward Himayev is currently in 5th. There might be a battle brewing. You know, right now, let's take while there has been some downtimes in me commentating, we should be able to share your opinions on the current actions on track at the moment. Because right now we're looking at Kizahara Leo, who have built up 6 seconds after the previous lap, after they passed turn 1. Shows you how much the Honda have managed to claw back the deficit in the corners. But in the straights here, you look at Thompson. He is already clawing the gap back down to 3/10 of a second. Of course, given that you have a very long main straight and heading into turn 1, you had to brake very hard because it's basically a second gear, first gear corner. While looking at Antanarao, taking a look into the inside of each other, it's a Nissan side by side. Both cars are already mangled. There is not much contact between the two. Antanarao tried to go around the inside of Richie Rod, and now he's under pressure from Vladislav Domashnev. Remember, the Nissans are absolutely struggling in this corner, and Domashnev thought there was a gap, but backed out of it, rightfully so, because right now Domashnev is looking for an opportunity to get past these two Nissan cars.
Here they go, still not side by side anymore. Will the Lexus be able to get them? I don't think so.
Nope, he's not close enough there. But looking back into the battles here at the moment, the battle between Antanarao and Richie Rod was a battle for what should be 4th place, because looking at Rakim Bayev is currently now up to 4th place, manages to beat Richie Rod, and now Richie Rod's down to 6th place, Antanaro's back up to 5th. The Masha's not far behind, but he might need to find, he might be losing some time in the main straight. But of course, the time that he's going to be looking for is at after the first turn.
Here they come down to the straight line, trying to get the slipstream if he can, just putting all the gas. Look at Charlie Thompson, he's going to make a move. Is he going to make it happen?
And right now, Charles Thompson. And right now, both of them side by side. Kizahara Leo gets pushed off wide. Will Kizahara Leo stand his line? Yes, he does. They're still side by side. This is a battle for the race lead. Castro and Richie also trading blows as well. Oh, and he almost pushes Thompson off wide. This is some very great racing here in Hololive GT3. Kizahara Leo is making his time in the lead count. And right now, Thompson is going to have to try to find another way to get past Charles Thompson. And the confirmation Lorenzo Ricci and Miguel Castro. Gen 3 battle between the Usada Pecora and Ocean Marine cars. This is a carbon copy of what we've seen between Kizahara Leo and Charles Thompson. Ricci and Castro, both of them, was supposed to not enter this race. But due to massive driver changes, they're back in it. And they're now battling Hammer and Toms as if they have never left the series. And right now, Lorenzo Ricci in the Hoshimari Lexus is side by side with Miguel Castro. They're hanging out between each other. Oh, a lot of curve there between. But you can see here the Honda got a good amount of airtime there. But currently Castro is still hanging around the outside. Will Richie
Still
hang on?
chase the
Oh,
curve.
there has been contact between the two. As you can see here, Castro just went slightly off wide. The battle continues at the end of Sector 3 here. Will there be mistakes?
Looks like there's no mistakes as of now. Oh, still on the curve. You don't really want to ride on that curve because we saw a lot of people spawning out after riding that curve.
And he made it
There.
work. Amazing stuff for Miguel Castro. He's currently still in this battle. And right now we might want to take a look back because Kento Kai is currently in 10th place. Yuki Kazekai is currently in 9th place. Daniel Bolatev and Griffin Wheatley battling for 11th place. Alex Grant back in 13th. Castro made a very good stuff there, exiting turn 16. Might have a smart line around the outside to defend 14th place. Amazing driving there from Miguel Castro, as expected.
And now Charles Thompson is definitely fighting really hard. Don't forget, Hoshimachi Suisei is very famous with the golden axe. So I think Charles Thompson also has that same golden axe, trying to fight Leo very hard.
That's a good metaphor there. As you may want to mention, Suisei is a borderline serial killer, if you want to call him that. I mean, if you rub Suisei the wrong way, she will not be hesitant to have this murder impulse in her. And right now, Charles Thompson is currently channeling those impulses into driving quite aggressively. Let's see if Thompson can have a very good exit off of the final corner to try to challenge Kizuhara Leo again for the race lead. But remember, Jeff Clark is also not far behind. He's currently in 3rd place, only 2.5 seconds behind.
Here he goes, flooring it all the way down, trying to get every slipstream he can. Coming to the first corner now, braking zone is close. He shuffles out. Is he gonna make a move?
Oh, yes, he does.
Oh, is he gonna make it all the way? Yes, he actually does. Forces Leo out, and now he's on 1st place.
But not for long. Kizuhara Leo might have something to say about it, but he's too far back. Charles Thompson steals the race lead in his first Hololive GT3 start. He has replaced Lorenzo Ricci in the off season in Hoshimachi Suisei Nissan, and now Charles Thompson makes it count for Hoshimachi Suisei. For all the Hoshiomi out there, they are currently enjoying it like there's no tomorrow. And there's another battle between Richie Rod and Vladislav Domashnev there. We did mention that the Nissans have been absolutely struggling at 100R, and the Lexus is currently the opposite right now. Because right now, Domashnev made a very good run at the exit of 100R, hanging around the outside at the hairpin, and currently at the Donald chicane. It's not going to look very ugly for Domashnev, but I think he can hold it. No abusing of the curbs at the moment, takes it very smoothly, and currently he has what should be 6th place taken care of. Richie Rott now down to 7th.
Now for the 1st and 2nd place, we've got one trying to win the race so that his or her Oshi will get a very good birthday present, and the other one is having a golden axe. Here he comes on the straight line, Kizuhara Leo flooring it too, trying to get a slipstream.
But that's literally not going to be enough. The Honda only has 510 horsepower and the Nissan has 600. But Kizuhara Leo can close the gap up into the tight first few sections, the tight corners between the main straight. So right now the gap is currently 7/10. Let's see how much Kizuhara Leo can close it back down.
Here they come to the Coca-Cola corner. You don't really need to have a lot of braking, but here we go, 100R, fine. Looking at Richie Rod now.
Yes, Richie Rod basically used the slipstream to get past Vladislav Domashnev once again. They're now hanging it out once again at 100R. Currently Domashnev is hanging it around the outside, which will be the inside. Domashnev, with the superior cornering ability of the Lexus, manages to get the car tucked in behind. Tucked in very well into the corner. We apologize for the wrong terms. Domashnev now is currently back up to 6th place. Rakhimbayev is still currently in 4th, and Tanaraudo is now up to 4th place as well. Kizuhara Leo isn't making much inroads at the moment against Charles Thompson, but look at Jeff Clark building up closing the gap between the top two runners here. The gap was 2.5 seconds, but it's now dropping down to 1.9 seconds when they last crossed the line. But I think it's much lower than that. Right now, Jeff Clark is going to be trying to really get into the offense here of Kizuhara Leo and Charles Thompson.
Now he'll be really hoping that Charles Thompson hold Leo down so that he can actually get the slipstream on the next lap and the straight line. Here they comes at the braking zone.
Well, as you can see here, the speed traffic is Leo. They're 283.9 kilometers an hour, only 1 kilometer an hour off. But still, looking into the timing charts right now, Jeff Clark is now back down to 2.4 seconds. And the last lap there, Charles Thompson is only a tenth faster than Kizuhara Leo. Gains a lot of time on the straight, but didn't lose too much time in the corners. So Charles is able to currently hold on into what should be the race lead. But looking into the strategies right now, Charles Thompson is currently fueled very low at this first stint. So for the second stint, he might want to be very careful when it comes to pit strategy.
If they come around the download corner, I believe. Yep, it is the download corner now. Heavy braking zone. Definitely don't want to be too high than second gear. And ride the corner as much, ride the curve as much as you can, sorry. But don't override it or else you're gonna be spinning out at some point or go even airborne.
And right now you can see here the Mashnev really getting his wheels up in that Dunlop chicane. And as you can see here, the Mashnev has a really fast car in terms of race pace. Let's see if he can make a pass onto what should be fifth place Andrew Rakhimbayev, because Rakhimbayev is not is currently losing touch with the 4 cars ahead of him. But let's see, with the long main straight, can the Mashnev close the gap? Not exactly, but can he basically minimize the deficit in the straight? And now look at Richie Rod there. Richie Rod might be back on the offense.
He's trying to gain a slipstream too. 3 cars, 2 of them gaining a slipstream mainly. Oh, the Nissan is gaining a lot, it seems.
They're gaining a lot as well, but it might not be enough. Still too far behind. Speed trap only 267. Yes, the speed trap was 267. It just shows you that I think he basically had a poor exit off of turn 16, so he couldn't make it count. And as for the leaders battle, Thompson have now gained a second of Kizuhara Leo, but currently in the corners, Leo's gonna be trying his best to mitigate the lost time on the straight into the corners right now. And looking at, let's say, Clark is also losing touch into the leading duo, and Antanarao is aiming to steal something from Jeff Clark.
Here they come to, I believe that is the Dunlop corner, I think?
Yes, this is the Dunlop chicane.
Yeah.
And right now, Antanarao really closing in onto...
That's corner 13 and carry out at next corner. Ooh, trying to ride the curbs, but not really riding everything.
And now into Panasonic. Let's see if Antanarao can have a very good exit there, exiting turn 16. So use that VR38 EDTT to good use. And you can see here the straight line advantage of the Lexus and the Nissan.
Gaining.
No, it's not slowly gaining. It's seriously gaining time on the straight here. And now you have Aldiser and Antanarao stealing a position from Jeff Clark. Oh, and as you can see here, Jeff Clark really trying to find a way to get past. Oh, you can see here Antanarao understeer at the exit of turn 1, but Antanarao manages to hold on. Antanarao is now probably up to 3rd place.
To the Coca-Cola corner, coming to the 100R. Oh wait, yeah, that's the 100R. Going to the outside.
And right now we're looking at the battle here between the battle for 4th place, Andrew Rakhimbayev. Sorry, no, the battle for 5th place. Andrew Rakhimbayev is losing a lot of time here. His last lap was a 1:44.186, and Vlasa Domashnev and also Richie Rod are matching them. And now look at Domashnev trying to challenge Rakhimbayev for something. And right now, will Rakhimbayev have a response heading into the Dunlop chicane. Will Thompson make a dive bomb? The answer is no, but Thompson will need to try to find any other opportunity that he can find.
Gaining. He's definitely closely gaining, riding the curves, almost getting airborne.
And Sean Pauli there. And Sean Pauli is also catching up in the battle for the top 5, basically battle for 5th place. But Richie Rod is taking his time at the moment to see if he can use the exit of turn 16 as an opportunity to get into the slipstream and hopefully make the pass on the main straight.
It's actually amazing how he is still hanging on even though there's so much damage on the front of that car.
And at the back as well, here is Richie Rod trying to close the gap onto Vladislav Domashnev. But you can see here, yes, he's gaining as well. But looking at Domashnev, the straight line disadvantage of the Lexus is clearly showing. And it's getting very close. But I don't think it's close enough for a move down into turn 1. 272 kilometers. But actually, yes, he's taking a move. Oh, balls to the wall there for going side by side into turns 2 and hitting into 100R. They're still side by side, and it looks going off the grass there. Richie Rod hang it over, and it looks to me that they have the Lexus trying to hang around the outside once again. Rod tried to hang it around on the straight here. And now the Domashnev manages to defend 6th place. And right now he's going to be trying his best to maintain a gap between himself and Rakhimbayev. But the battle between 5th and 7th is not doing any favors to them in terms of catching up into the front 4. Because Sean Pauli is catching up slowly. It's no longer going to be a 3-horse race. It's going to be a 4-horse race. And by horses, I mean virtual YouTubers, because right now Andrew Rakhimbayev is leading in the Okamiya Honda on the battle for P5, and we have Aki Rotenthal car driven by Vladislav Domashnev in 6th, and in 7th is Richie Rod in the Shirakami Fubuki Nissan. And just a bit of a note here. We are actually currently on lap 13 of this race, now going into lap 14. Kizuhara Leo is actually slowly gaining back some time onto Charles Thompson. So obviously Thompson had been using a good amount of tires there, and now the gap dropped down back to 7/10 of a second. Kizuhara Leo might have a chance to make this stint work in his first stint. It's gonna go quite long. Thompson wants to go for the undercut. Leo wants to go for the overcut. And if you want to know what the overcut is basically you stay out on track with your old tires, focus on track position, maintain consistent lap times, and when you pit later than everyone else, sure, you're going to be behind them, but the time loss won't be as much, and you will have fresh tires. And this is what Kizuhara Leo might be thinking of. Althusser and Tenera slowly catching back up in 3rd place. Also Jeff Clark. Currently there might be a distant battle between the top 4, between the leading 2, and 3rd and 4th, and Tenera and Clark not far behind. We also want to apologize again for the error in the timing tower. Meanwhile, Domashnev is trying his best to catch up to Rakhimbayev. Meanwhile, Richie Rod is going to start to see Sean Pauli in his rear view mirrors.
That's always what you get if you're fighting too long enough. The guys behind you is definitely going to catch up.
And looking at Domashnev, Panasonic corner, they can see how Domashnev really gets very close there to Rakhimbayev at the start of the straight, but at the end of the straight it will be quite distant, and he will be under pressure from Rod. And looking at Sean Pauli, he's also not far behind. Here we have Yukikaze Kai now battling against Griffin Wheatley for 10th place. So I actually wanted to check what happened to Daniel Bolatev, Kento Kai. Yeah, Kento Kai had definitely made a mistake somewhere and has now dropped down a few positions. Had been under pressure from Daniel Bolatev and Miguel Castro and also Alex Grant. So obviously we have Lorenzo Ricci in 15th place, Kento Kai in 14th, Daniel Bolatev 13th, 12th place is Miguel Castro, Alex Grant in 11th, Wheatley's in 10th, Kai is in 9th, and the battle between 5th and 8th is still pretty much ripe as Domashnev will want to try to find away fast. And Rahim Bayev in the corners. Rahim Bayev is struggling at the exit of the hairpin.
He was trying to take the curves, but that was not enough for him.
And looking at Kizuhara Leo there, he's really trying to one-up Charles Thompson in the corners there. The gap is now dropping down to 0.5 of a second, but it should be a very close one, but it should be a very close exit at the end if Leo needs to have any chance of catching back up to Thompson. And as you can see here, Charles Thompson has a 0.5 of a gap at the moment, but is now losing slightly the gap here again with the Nissan's straight line speed. Let's see if Leo can just slowly get himself back up to make sure his overcut strategy works.
Into the braking zones now. Let's see who brakes first. Oh, this is too far, sorry.
And looking into the other battles here between Antenna Rao and Jeff Clark. Here's the battle between P8. It's between the Okami Miyu, Aki Rosenthal, Shirakami Fubuki, and Inugami Korone cars, respectively from 5th to 8th. And right now, the Mashev is losing time to the Rahim Bayev on the straight. Richie Rod is still too far behind. Sean Pauly is still trying to catch. Yukikaze Kai and Gruffin Wheatley battling for 9th and 10th. Let's see who will be the winner out there. And as you can see here, Gruffin Wheatley getting very close there too. Oh,
very close indeed.
And we thought
might have been.
Well, we might, yeah, we thought there might be contact, but both of them did a very good job into avoiding contact between the two. Kai's really slow on these sections here. So right now, Yukikaze Kai and Gruffin Wheatley in the battle of Nissans for 9th place is still very much alive. And currently the battle for 11th is currently for Alex Grant. Miguel Castro in 12th, Bolatev down in 13th. Lorenzo Ricci doing a very good job subbing for basically replacing the outgoing Jake Fox, and Kento Kai in 15th, the last of the point scorers. Chucky Reza hanging on to 16th place. It's currently quite bleak for him, but let's hope for some miracles.
And once again, the top 15 will get points. If you're out of the 15, you get no points at all.
And looking at the laps winding down, we're already on lap 17, 16 laps complete. Kizuhara Leo is only about a 10th of a second slower there on Charles Thompson on that last lap. They're on a league of their own. Looking into the last laps, Altucer Antanaro is also losing a good amount of time as well. He has been using a good amount of his tires to try to catch up to the leading pack, but that's not doing him any favors, because right now, who is behind him right now? Jeff Clark. Jeff Clark is going to be trying to attack Altucer Antanaro off a position. And currently we're looking into the expanding stories here at the moment. The Mashnev and Rahim Bayev still staying put, but Sean Pauly have now definitely caught up to Richie Rod here. The Inugami Korone Honda has a lot of pace in that machine, and let's see what Sean Pauly can do to pass Richie Rod there. Oh, you can see here the Mashnev starting to really go around the outside, the inside of the hairpin, but also obviously it's too far back. Let's see if he can close the gap back up and see if he can find an opening. Not quite close enough.
Not enough indeed. Here we go. Heavy braking there. Oh, he's trying to take it in curves. Took the curve, but still not enough for him to overtake him.
And yes, we also saw Richie Rod going slightly off wide as well. But fortunately, Rod is able to hang on to his position, but he's still under pressure from Sean Pauly.
And Pauly definitely trying real hard to make this a good point, a good position before he probably will be leaving the race.
And looking at the Mustang, still quite close to Rahim Bayev, but the gap is currently opening due to the Lexus cars' power disadvantage. Looking at Richie Rod, he's too far behind the Mustang to try to dive bomb around the inside. But for Sean Pauly, he might be able to think of something. Meanwhile, for Yukikaze Kai and Griffin Wheatley, the battle for P9 and 10 is still ripe, but let's take a look back into the race field monitor and to see who is very low on field. We're looking at Andrew Rahimbayev and Altucer and Tanara, and also Sean Pauly, as well as Shakib Reza and Kento Kai. and also Charles Thompson. These will be the first drivers to pit. So when the pit window opens on around the lap 22-23 mark, we will be seeing the drivers making their pit stops early on in this race.
And last race we saw one of the drivers, I'm sorry for forgetting the name, but he did a very long stint of 38 laps before getting in. That is very long.
And we actually, for Christoph Salmonman, he actually stayed up for about 47 to 48 laps. Actually got into the way of Mama Shazin Reza as he was trying to pass him, and then both Daniel Bauer and Callum Gibbons managed to overtake him back. And right now, looking into the other battles here at the moment, we still have yet to get 5 drivers being properly scored into the timing charts here. The Mustang getting very close to Rakhimbayev that time, but not quite close enough. It's still the status quo for Richie Rod and Sean Pauly. Right now there has been no changes between the two. Miwa Kizuhara Liu. Oh, is it just me or we just saw Sean Pauly? Oh yes, Sean Pauly. Sean Pauly will be the first driver to commit to a undercut strategy. So let's see how the strategy unfolds for Sean Pauly.
Bringing into the pit stop now, the only thing that he will be wishing very hard to not happen is that the fuel end up not enough. Just like me yesterday, I was hitting pretty much like early, but then not enough fuel, end up having to pit another time and just lose all the positions I've gained.
And looking at Kizuhara Leo, still having a constant gap between himself and Charles Thompson. This is what Kizuhara Leo needs. He just needs consistency. Even as his tires are already wearing down on him, he might have at most 20 laps left on his first stint at the moment. He might pit at around lap 38 to lap 39, but for Charles Thompson, he will be pitting in the next 7 laps, so he should be between laps 25 to 26 for Charles Thompson to make a pit stop. Sean Pauly is now probably credited into the timing tower. Only 1 minute and let's see, 1 minute and 1 minute and 16 seconds behind Charles Thompson, but let's see if he can steal a lot of time away. So yeah, looking at Shakib Reza, we already have 1 out of 16 drivers who are still in the race already pitting. Obviously, commiserations for Bond Air, who got collected into the turn 1 crash. Got collected after he got collected by Andrew Rakhimbayev, who lost the car briefly. Meanwhile, Altasur Antanarao is, well,
Still
in 3rd place. Yeah, still trying to hold off Jeff Clark. Jeff Clark is currently maintaining a consistent gap between himself and Antanarao. So the battle between the two is going to be quite interesting.
And at this point of time, it might be only a battle of fuel and tire consumption. Are you gonna hold there for enough longer? Are tires gonna be enough? It will be an interesting strategy for them.
Ooh, Domashnev
Lost the position to Richard Rod.
But of course, Domashnev might be able to gain a lot of time back here into the 100R. He has a very good run onto the hairpin. Will he make a dive bomb? The answer is yes. Here comes the section where the Lexus knows it can definitely attack, but to hang it around the outside is a very risky maneuver, even if at this point oh yes, we have another driver pitting. It's Mama Shakib Reza. Here is his car being serviced, as well as, yes, that's Kento Kai. Kento Kai is also having his car serviced.
Tomashev almost being forced out by Richard Rod. Side by side now, are they going to continue to be side by side? Oh, riding a lot of curve, Richard Rod there. And also, Tomashev. Tomashev gains that position. Richard Rod probably not able to control his car enough, loses some time riding curve.
And we have confirmation that Kizuhara Leo and Charles Thompson have brought Kento Kai and Mama Shakib Reza a lap down. And now Shakireza is a lap down to both and also Antanara. Antanara is also pitted as well. The pit stop cycles have really started in absolute earnest. Charles Thompson has actually miscalculated his fuel run as well. Actually, no, sorry. I apologize because Charles Thompson has yet to pit. But meanwhile, Domashev and Richie Rod battling Hammer and Tom side by side in the turn 1. Domashev on the outside hanging it around. And also Richie Rod trying to hang it around the inside. Will he be able to? Oh, they're still side by side, both of them into the corner, but it looks like Domashev has the advantage with the superior cornering advantage. And looking at Richie Rod trying to hang it around the outside, but it's not going to be enough. Domashev consolidates what should be 5th place right now. And also, sorry, no, 4th place. Right now with Antanara pitting, he's now, I believe, down to 8th place.
Richie Rod there literally not even bothering how many damage he's gonna get riding the curve and also getting onto the grass. Very aggressive driving from him, just trying to take back the position.
Oh, here comes the battle here. There's a bit of a battle here right now. Rakhimbayev and Pauly having nearly identical strategies right now. While Rakhimbayev manages to stay consistent in his strategy, does the overcut on Sean Pauly. Basically, he did pit at the same time. And now Kizuhara Leo steals the race lead as Charles Thompson peels it into the pit so that his car is being serviced.
Charles Thompson definitely trying to go for an overcut attempt here. Let's see where will Leo start pit.
Yes, Charles Thompson is currently going for the undercut strategy. And looking at his fuel, he is currently pitting on lap 22. Kizuhara Leo still has about 10 laps of his first stint that he still needs to do. Meanwhile, we have a few guys that are still currently in the position to win this race. Looking at the timing chart, Domashev is also up to 3rd place. Richie Rod as well, currently up to 4th place. Oh, we also wanted to mention as well that we have Jeff Clark missing in the charts here at the moment. Jeff Clark is somewhere still on track. Is currently battling for. Is currently in 2nd place, trying to battle against the lap car of Kento Kai. Both of these cars have had some history together. Oh, there's a bit of contact between. Oh, a lot of contact between Jeff Clark and Kento Kai, and that's not going to do Jeff Clark any favors, as he still, I believe, hasn't hit it yet, and currently he has Kento Kai blocking him, and currently that's not going to do him any favors in the battle between himself and Antanarao, as well as the battles between him and Rasa Domashev and Rakhimbayev, Sean Pauly, and Richie Rod.
Jeff Clark literally on the bumper of Kento Kai there, and he's not gonna lose any speed at all. Probably nowhere to brake, to be honest.
Maybe there will be maybe it will be under review, but we have confirmation. Chucky Breza and Charles Thompson have calculated their fuel absolutely correctly, as well as Andrew Rakhimbayev and Alcacer and Tanara. So they will be set for the entire race, well, for the rest of this race. The pit stop delta is currently 45 seconds between each of these drivers, so if you basically pit, you'll be losing 45 seconds. And as it stands right now, Kizuhara Leo will exit, if he does pit right now, into the race lead. Well, obviously he still has a strategy that he needs to play out, so he's still going to stay out on track.
Here comes Ikaze Kai and Griffin Ridley now, still fighting for, I believe, oh wait, are they fighting for 5th?
Oh, looking at the timing charts, yes, they are still fighting for 5th right now. We still have another driver who has yet to be properly scored, and that is Jeff Clark in the timing table on your left. I think now is a good time for us to tell you that this event basically is being held also coming into, well, the 4th festival Our Bright Parade, and also the Hololive Super Expo 2023. And obviously we are trying our best to also promote Hololive's biggest event and also their biggest concert of the year. And if you want to buy tickets to the 4th festival, you may be able to do so. Here's the hashtag Hirogaru Hololive, means widening Hololive. It's like Hololive wants to widen their reach here, and you want to buy tickets to the 4th Fest, here's the QR code that you can scan right now on the bottom right of your screen. and you can scan this QR code to find out more about the Hololive Super Expo 2023. So with that out of the way, we're looking into some of the other battles here between Rakhimbayev and Pauly. I think both of them have some hammer and talk between each other. And also Lorenzo Ricci managing to defend against Daniel Bolata. Bolata had been around the inside and was alongside Lorenzo Ricci, but Bolata just wasn't close enough.
One Lexus versus a Honda NSX. Could the NSX get up on these corners? As we know, the Honda NSX are quite stable, even though not too fast or not too slow on the corners.
And looking into the current battles here right now, Jeff Clark is still not properly credited into the timing charts, as well as one other driver. We'll get into that into a bit. And right now, Daniel Bolatev. Oh, there's Lorenzo Ricci in the Hosho Marine car. Finally, he gets his car service. Looking into the pit stops, he is pitting on lap 25, almost smack dab at the middle of the race. Let's take a look back into the DNFer Bon Air. You can see there's massive amounts of damage on the left. Surly has a bit of a huge whack as he got spun outwards from the track. So this is the extent of the damage of the Matsuri Lexus. Bon Air on his first race of the 2023 season, not doing very well for him.
Even the glasses of his sides are all shattered off.
Yeah, that just shows you how much damage he has sustained. He wasn't able to continue in this race, and rightfully so. And looking into some of the other drivers here, Lorenzo Ricci finally has his car service, and yes, he is dropped down a lap. Because here we see a battle between Lorenzo Ricci, and here he's being lapped by Jeff Clark, who is still in second place. Jeff Clark, obviously, the gap between him and Kizuhara Leo is 10 seconds. So obviously, him being able to clear the lap car of what looks to be, yes, Lorenzo Ricci is obviously going very well for him. And right now, Lorenzo Ricci is currently hanging around in what should be, I believe it's in 14th place, because he's in 14th place. Kento Kai still in 15. Shakireza is still outside the points, but Shakireza might be able to steal something from Kento Kai.
Yeah, Jeff Clark is definitely very happy that he managed to avoid. Sorry, who was it?
Jeff Clark manages to avoid Lorenzo Ricci and avoid being stuck.
Rather than how he was trying to overtake the guy.
Oh yes, and we have confirmation that Altusen and Tanara have overtaken Alex Grant, and Tanara is now up to 7th place. And looking into the field monitors right now, Damashnev is the next to be called into the pit. Kizuhara Leo, Richie Rod, and then we have Griffin Wheatley, Jeff Clark, as well as Miguel Castro and Yukikaze Kai, as well as Daniel Bolatev and Alex Grant. These are the drivers who have yet to pit. Miguel Castro is still not recorded into the timing towers, as well as Jeff Clark. So we need to pay attention to these as well. Miguel Castro have not serviced his car into the pit lane, so he's currently having what should be 8th place. And we need to have a bit of a clarification. Antanara overtook Alex Grant at the end of the back straight and the main straight here. He's not actually up to 9th. We apologize for the slight inaccuracies of the information. And now Damashnev finally pits.
Damashnev into the pits. Richie Rod taking 3rd place, I think.
Yes, Richie Rod finally taking 3rd place with Vlaslav Damashnev pitting. And as you can see here, he had a very good second sector there. Damashnev is currently dropping down the order, and his battle is currently with Andrew Rakhimbayev, Sean Pauly, and co. And right now we have Sean Pauly and Andrew Rakhimbayev still out there into the Panasonic corner, and Damashnev finally getting back out. The overcut strategy is doing very well for those who are doing the overcut. So Kizuhara Leo is still trying to hang on to whatever he has at the moment. Charles Thompson is actually losing touch to Kizuhara Leo actually.
Behind about 48 seconds behind Leo now. Thompson is definitely going to try real hard to get back to the position. Yeah.
Right now we all want to mention that Griffin Wheatley, Jeff Clark, and Miguel Castro are not properly credited into the timing towers yet. Bon Air obviously is not going to be credited because it didn't pass the timing loops, but we'll need to check back. And right now, oh yeah, Castro has been properly credited back. We apologize here as Castro is now under pressure from Althusser and Tanarao. Pecora and Okayu cars side by side into the Dunlop chicane, and Althusser and Tanarao manages to get up into what should be 7th place.
One rabbit versus the cat. Let's see who's gonna get it. It's gonna be the cat, it's gonna be the rabbit. By the way, the cat referring to Nakamata Okayu and the rabbit referring to the Sadara Pecora.
Obviously for sure, but right now we're looking into some of the other battles here. Richie Rod is still holding on to 3rd place. Jeff Clark is actually the one holding 2nd. Daniel Bolatev is currently being called into the pit lane as we are being informed at the moment. And as for Richie Rod, he has at least 12 laps to still maintain, to still do on his first stint. And for Jeff Clark, he only has 7 laps to go. He only has 19 liters of fuel to go.
And Richie Rod really ignoring all his damages. Look at that damage on his front.
But
like,
don't worry.
I don't even know how he's still racing.
Don't worry, he's still trying to buff it out, trying to tough out the damage, and obviously he's trying his absolute best. Looking into Bolatev, we have confirmation that Bolatev is finally getting into the pit lane to get his car serviced. And looking into Kizuhara Leo, it's going to be a certainty that he will get lapped. Kizuhara Leo obviously going to be en route to leading the most laps here in Fuji, and rightfully so, because today is a special day for obviously for the Shiokos and Murasaki Shion. Shion will be performing live tonight at her channel. You need to check it again if it's at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Japanese time. Whatever the case is, Daniel Bolatev overtaken by Lorenzo Ricci. Ricci making the undercut strategy very much, making the undercut strategy work. So Daniel Bolatev is now really down, actually overtaken by both Shazin Reza and Kento Kai. But with Daniel Bolatev having the fresher tires, he might have something to say about it.
Here comes Richie Rod, 3rd place now, heavy into the braking zones, taking the corner as nice as he can.
Here we have a few drivers in the battle here right now. Gruffin Wheatley is currently there as well. Gruffin Wheatley is not properly credited into the timing towers just yet. It's a probable battle for 4th place. Only Charles Thompson has pitted, and right now Gruffin Wheatley is not allowing Thompson to pass him. And right now it's not on the favors of Charles Thompson, as he wants to steal a lot of time to Kizuhara Leo. Kizuhara Leo is absolutely enjoying this overcut strategy at the moment.
Yuki Kazukai definitely has to thank Griffin Wheatley a lot for holding Thompson behind.
And also Kizuhara Leo. Remember, Kizuhara Leo have yet to pit, and the pit stop delta is around 45 to 50 seconds. So Kizuhara Leo, if he pits right now, he will be exiting ahead of Charles Thompson. Remember, Charles Thompson was the leader of this race, and now with him being stuck behind traffic, it's not going to do him any favors. And now there's a battle between Alex Grant and Vladislav Dimashev for position.
Here they come to the Dunlop corner, I'm pretty sure. Braking zones. Oh, very close to the bumper there. Luckily they didn't end up in any sort of collision.
Okay, and right now we're looking at Alex Grant doing very well to hold off his position. He's currently in 9th place trying to hold off Vladislav Dabashnev. Richie Rod still hanging on to his battered car, still holding on quite well there. His last lap was a 144. Finally, Jeff Clark have pitted, and that will mean only one car have yet to be properly credited. And Jeff Clark, actually with Charles Thompson being held up quite a lot, Jeff Clark is currently battling Charles Thompson for 2nd place.
Not enough speed at that at that short straight, heading to the Coca-Cola corner.
But right now,
100R.
Clark might be able to catch up in these tight and twisty sections here. Let's see if Thompson messes up the corner exit, exiting the hairpin. And looking at the top 10 at the moment, Griffin Wheatley is currently in 5th place, but he has yet to pit. And looking at him, he's going for the super long strategy right now. He has 15 laps under his belt, so he might be pitting on lap 45. So he's going to be trying a similar strategy to what Christoph Salomon had done.
Now Thompson's definitely gonna try to ask Griffin Wheatley nicely to get out of the way. I have someone on my back trying to get the 2nd place now. You might want to get out of the way fast.
But of course, he has his race on his own. They are not basically lapped. They are battling on the lead lap. This is for the lead positions. And let's see if Thompson can try to force his way into a position of safety. And looking into Thompson, getting very close there. The slipstream is doing quite well on his favor. The gap is now dropping down to 3/10. Domashnev and Grant also battling side by side once again at the Panasonic corner. Both of them trying to catch Miguel Castro. Domashnev hanging around the outside. Does very well to do so, but he still has the slipstream and the main straight to worry about. We'll get into them later. For now, let's take a look into the battle between Charles Thompson and Jeff Clark.
Jeff Clark lagging behind a lot. I think he had a very bad exit on the corners.
And looking back into the pit strategy here, Racefield monitors Kizohara Leo, 9 laps left on his current stint as well as Richie Rowe. I think they'll be pitting at the same time. Alex Grant will go slightly longer. Kazikai will go for slightly longer as well. 13 laps for both of them. And as for Miguel Castro, he will be going very long, as well as Griffin Wheatley. So we still have 6 drivers around that have yet to pit, so watch out for them.
Here they come, coming to the Dunlop corner. And I think this is supposed to be heading to corner 13. Oh, never mind, this is the 108 sorry.
And this is the Dunlop chicane. They're right now, both of the Hondas have lost out to Vladislav Domashnev. Obviously, Domashnev has already pitted for new sets of tires and is currently up to 9th place. Obviously, Wheatley is still not properly credited into the charts just yet. And looking into the last lap there, Kizohara Leo has a very good lap, 143.375. Richie Rowe has a pretty meh last lap of a 144.783. Kizohara Leo is running away with this lead at the moment.
55 seconds behind is Thompson now. Thompson is still fighting with, I think, Wheatley.
Yes, and currently very much stuck behind Griffin Wheatley, who's currently in 4th place. Charles Thompson is looking for an opportunity, but right now it's not doing himself much. It's not going to do him much favors. But let's see what Wheatley can still do from this point on.
And luckily, Jeff Clark is still 1 second behind Thompson, or else Jeff Clark might end up fighting with Thompson too for the 2nd place.
Kikazikai holding on to 3rd place. Charles Thompson in 5th place. Wheatley is in 4th. The Minato Aquanescence getting the coverage it deserves. Obviously, continuing from what Aquamarine Jensen had done in that series up to today, leading a good amount of spending a good amount of time in the front of the pack. And yeah, looking at Wheatley at the moment, he's doing very well for himself. Obviously, he has been familiar with the Nissans around him, so obviously he managed to be a quick learner, understood how the GTR responds. But let's see how much longer he can defend from Charles Thompson. You can see here Jeff Clark really breathing down onto the gap of Charles Thompson.
Getting all the slipstream he can now, trying to get the gap behind from Clark bigger, and also trying to get the gap to Leo smaller.
And Alex Grant has passed Miguel Castro as well. Good job there from... Oh, and Richie Rod there finally pits from... I believe he was in 3rd at the moment. And now he is... yeah, he was in 2nd. But now he will be serving his pit stop. And there is a few Lexus cars barreling down into the main straight. Richie Rod will be sure to take around maybe 7th or 8th. But obviously, still have a few drivers who have yet to pit. So obviously, it's still not doom and gloom for Richie Rod, driver the number 22 share coming from Fuji Nissan. And meanwhile, let's take a look back into Yukikaze Kai. Hang on.
Place.
Yes, second place right now. But remember, he has yet to pit as well as Kizuhara Leo. But Charles Thompson and Jeff Clark are currently being held up by Yukikaze Kai and also Griffin Wheatley. Yes, looking at the gap laps times, the Kai is definitely very slow. 1:45.704 was his last lap. Griffin Wheatley only has a lap time of 1:44.062. Charles Thompson 44.110. Jeff Clark 44.034. Just shows you where they are at the moment. And Kizuhara Leo finally pits. But it will not matter much to Kizuhara Leo because right now they're still battling. Because look at this, Sean Pauli and Richie Rod battling side by side for what should be 10th, for what should be, I believe, 11th. 11th place because Wheatley is still not recorded into the charts just yet. Kizuhara Leo finally pits. Yukikaze Kai is currently in the main straight. Look at how much Leo has relative to everyone else onto the main straight. And now Ron and Paul is still battling side by side. Fubuki versus Korone. Two members of Hololive Games. You can see here Ron really going off wide there. Oh, and Paul really going off wide. But managing to hold on. There's contact between the two.
Contact again.
And right now Sean Pauli. And right now Sean Pauli. Oh, as you can see here, Rod has went off.
Oh no.
That's the mistake that we're talking. That's the mistake we're talking about. Richie Rod has currently paid it absolutely dearly. He tried to hang around the outside, and that will now mean that Richie Rod is now DNFing out of this race. 60% race distance already, and we've already have a casualty in Richie Rod. Well, if you haven't counted Bon Air yet.
He's gonna be so disappointed saying that I just exited the pit, fixed my car, and now I got damaged, and I also failed to even get my position back. And I'm dropping all the way to DNF.
Which is an absolute heartbreak for Richie Rod and for all the Skombu watching. But for now, we still have 16 cars still in the running. We had confirmation that Richie Rod has gone back into the pits. The car could not be refired, and Sean Pauli have really played the cards well to try to use intimidation to try to stay ahead. And looking at Yukikaze Kai still holding out Charles Thompson as well as Griffin Wheatley and Jeff Clark. Kizuhara Leo is enjoying this unless he has to pit once again, but it's currently quite unlikely. He only needs 22 laps more to finish this race, and right now the surplus is about 5 lap surplus of fuel. So right now he's good on fuel, and right now unless he catches up into lap traffic and he gets stuck there, he might have a bit of a hard time. But right now it's Kizuhara Leo's race to lose.
So now Kento Kai will be the key to see if Leo will be losing any positions, and somehow Thompson and Yukikaze Kai and the others will be able to get up to them.
And we have confirmation Griffin Wheatley is now up to 3rd place, Charles Thompson in 4th, and Jeff Clark in 5th place. Obviously, Yukikaze Kai and Griffin Wheatley have yet to pit. They're not lap cars, the cars in 2nd and 3rd. But right now, the 3 Nissans in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are currently not doing themselves much favors. And right now, oh, you can see here, Charles Thompson really going off the inside of Griffin Wheatley finally. And right now, he's gonna make his ambitions real to try to catch himself back up into Kizuhara Leo. Miguel Castro has already passed Alex Grant once again.
Thompson finally, after being stuck for 3 laps, finally able to overtake Griffin Wheatley now. Now he's gonna try to overtake I, which is also the slow cars in front of him.
It's Yukikaze Kai. We just needed to refer you that because currently Kento Kai is barreling down the main straight, trying to start lap 34. And looking into the fuel monitors, Kai only has 9 laps left of fuel. Alex Grant has 8 laps of fuel and is currently, he's being called into the pits now. And also looking into guys like Griffin Wheatley, he still has 10 laps. Yukikaze Kai still has 9 laps. So obviously Thompson will still want to try to clear Yukikaze Kai as soon as possible.
He's now slowly gaining, I believe. Camera angle's a little bit weird, so He's still trying to gain, coming to the braking zone. Is he gonna make a move?
Not quite close enough. 4 tenths.
Yeah, and you can see from the speed trap, Yuki Kazukai is really slower than Thompson now. Probably having a bad exit from the Panasonic corner.
And looking at Antanarao, he's really close back up into Jeff Clark. Bakhimbayev getting up a position or two. Alex Grant finally peels into the pit so that his car gets serviced. He will have very fresh tire. He's going to go for the overcut strategy. Let's see if it pays off for Alex Grant. For Miguel Castro, he also have yet to pit. He still has 14 laps left to basically get on for his tires. But meanwhile, as we're about to take a look into Jeff Clark, he might be under pressure from Altuser Antanarao, who's currently in 6th place. Remember, Clark is in 5th. And Thompson is in 3rd. Thompson's now almost going side by side with Alex Grant, but I think you can see here Kai manages to defend quite well.
Trying everything he can, going very aggressive and trying every move he can to clear Yuki Kazukai out of the way. As you can see, Charles Thompson is now 15 seconds behind Leo. So now Kai is very blocking Charles Thompson.
And finally, Yuki Kazukai is finally pitting. Charles Thompson is finally unleashed into 2nd place. But still, for Jeff Clark and Altuser Antanarao, they still have the Minato Aqua Nissan that they need to deal with. Apologies if there is a slight lag at the moment. Look at this. Gruff and Wheatley going down the inside again of Charles Thompson. Thompson had a very poor exit off of turn 16, but Will Thompson managed to defend into turn 1. By just about squeezing the Nissan of Gruff and Wheatley off. But they're still side by side. Yes, they're still side by side. We also have confirmation that Antanarao has passed the 18 IMA Lexus. Charles Thompson pushing. Ooh, you can see here. Compromise the exit of 100R as well. The battle is getting very rife. Look at Jeff Clark going to go back at it at Antanarao.
Going very hard side by side to these corners. That's definitely not very ideal for them.
A Nissan 2-3 might be on the cars here as Jeff Clark gets pushed off. And right now you can see here, Gruff and Wheatley defending the outside line to allow for Jeff Clark to make a move against Altuser and Antanarao. Clark does it. Will he able to hang on? And still they're side by side heading into turns 13, to turns 12. Jeff Clark hanging on to the inside. It's now going to be around the outside. He needs to be very careful there at this turns 13 and 14. Keeps it very clean and tidy. And Antanarao now has a problem, and that is Griffin Wheatley in front of him. He's now down to 5th, and he needs to clear the lap, basically the traffic. Finally, Griffin Wheatley finally pits, so the battle for 2nd has now finally started in earnest.
Kizuhara Leo now 19 seconds in front of Thompson. Now let's see if Thompson has enough tire for it, but don't forget Leo did an undercut on Thompson.
And also we want to mention Richiro has also miscalculated his fuel. He put in way too little fuel. Now he has to pit once again.
Richiro DNF.
Sorry, yeah. Richiro DNF. Yeah, we apologize there. We thought there was a bit of a severe lapse in my judgment. We apologize for that. Richie Rod spun out on lap 33 trying to pass Sean Pauly. Sean Pauly managed to keep his head down. Rod got off wide. Made a mistake, DNF in this race, and now is gonna come out with nothing. There's now 15 cars left in this race. There are now 15 cars left, and all of them will be running for points. Even for Daniel Bolate, who is now currently stuck in 15th, he will have a guaranteed points finish of 1 point.
And finally, Wheatley is now in the timing towers now, exited pit 9th position with Kai. Kai is also trying to overtake. Manages to make the move. Got a little bit of confused myself, sorry.
And right now, Yukikaze Kai, in a battle between 9th and 10th, still manages to get ahead of Wheatley. The strategies between each other are working out quite well. And for Kizuhara Leo, he's currently stuck behind Momashaki Reza, who's down in 14th place. He is a lap car, and let's see how much the lap cars are going to play at Kizuhara Leo's disadvantage. And let's see how much Antanarao, Clark, and Thompson are able to basically steal the good amount of time.
Yeah, managed to just gain back 1 second now. Thompson's now 18 seconds behind Leo. Now he'll be really hoping that Shakib Reza holds Leo enough longer so they can get more gaps.
And currently the gap's down to 17.7 seconds, but Kizuhara Leo making a clear move into Shakib Reza. Shakib Reza tries to fight back, but fortunately for Leo, it's not really too hard. And we also wanted to mention as well, Alex Grant, Shakib Reza, and Kento Kai are representing the Gen 5 members of. Kai represents Shishiro Botan, Grant represents Yukiano Alami, Shakib Reza represents Momosuzu Nene. And obviously, both of these cars are currently at the bottom of the standings here at the moment, with Daniel Bolatti the only one that separates between them and a total last place finish. Sean Pauli catching up to Andrew Akimbayev and Miguel Castro. Miguel Castro have also yet to pit as well. Looking at Miguel Castro, 27 liters of fuel left, 10 laps of fuel to go. He might pit in the next 4 to 5 laps to try to challenge everyone using the older tires.
Here comes Chef trying to fight Antanarao. Coming to, I believe that is supposed to be Panasonic corner.
Yes, Panasonic corner, the final 2 turns, that's Panasonic corner. And Tomasha tries to basically limit the damage here on the main straight here against Antanarao. Jeff Clark not exactly closing in, he also wants to try to limit the damage between himself and Thompson. Kizuhara Leo still has another lap car that he needs to deal with, and that is Alex Grant. And then he needs to deal with Kento Kai. If he can clear all 3 of these cars, nothing is going to stop Kizuhara Leo from winning the biggest race of the Hololive GT3 season, the Our Bright Parade 500. And speaking of the Our Bright Parade 500, this race we want to mention again. With this race, after this race, after this race next Monday, tomorrow, we will be entering the week of the Super Expo and the Hololive 4 Festival. And obviously, the title of this race is the Our Bright Parade 500 at Fuji. Is because we want to help promote the event. Obviously, we are not being paid by Cover. We are not affiliated by Cover. You can see here Kizuhara Leo trying to avoid Alex Grant. Anyways, and here's the hashtag, Hirogaru Hololive, the main hashtag for the 4 Fest. Use this hashtag to basically talk about the 4 Fest. And if you want to buy tickets to the 4 Fest, the Our Bright Parade is around about $50 for each ticket. And yes, we know it's expensive, but you can buy tickets there, and you can scan this QR code to find out more about the Hololive Super Expo 2023. And here we see Alex Grant finally being passed by Kizuhara Leo, putting both Shakib Reza and Alex Grant down a lap. And for Daniel Bolatev as well, he's also down a lap as well. Looking at Jeff Clark, also trying to get really close into Charles Thompson, as they are now trying to clear the lap car of Daniel Bolatev. Here comes Suitoa. Obviously, they're on different laps at this point. Charles Thompson is entering lap 40, and Bolatev is about to enter lap 39. Let's see how Thompson is doing.
Leo managed to clear Alex Grant, but also paid a little price. Now Thompson is 15 seconds behind of Leo now, slowly closing in, but there's still 15 laps to go.
More like 16 laps to go, but yeah. We're about to enter the final stages of this race. 16 laps to go here in Fuji, the Our Bright Parade 500. And looking at Antanarao rightly trying to catch up into the battle between the battle for second place is currently being extended to 5th place, because while Kizuhara Leo is running it away with this win, Jeff Clark is trying to pass the lap car of Daniel Bolata. Let's see if we can do it ASAP. And then there is also Antanarao and Damashnev also catching up into the podium positions.
Thompson basically now needs to gain at least 1.5 seconds every lap now, so that he'll be able to at least be close enough to snatch the podium. Or
Here's Kento Kai. Yes, currently it's Kento Kai. Kento Kai is the only other lap car that's stopping Kizuhara Leo's efforts. Obviously he's going to be a sitting duck onto the main straight. Charles Thompson is currently trying his best to close his gap to Kizuhara Leo, but he also needs to try to defend his second place from Jeff Clark and Antanara advance on Damashnev. You can see here Antanara trying to clear Balatev here, and he goes very loose there. So we could be seeing some 3 wide action, but for now we're not seeing those 3 wide actions at the moment. Right now, Antanara is trying to pass Altus Antanara. Jeff Clark and Charles Thompson have cleared both of them. Let's see if Antanara can clear Balatev, but he's not quite close enough. Altus Antanara is too far back. He tried to pass at the exit of turn 16, but compromised his exit, and now he has to spend more time behind the lap car Balatev.
Leo now entering to his 41st lap now. 9 laps to go for him.
Not exactly 9 laps to go.
Actually.
Now it's actually 15 laps to go. But now Damashnev is going to try to put a statement against Antanara for the battle for 4th place. Damashnev has the outside line at the hairpin, which allows Antanara to make a move down the inside of the hairpin. And you can see here, Damashnev is stuck behind Balatev, and he can try to use, and Antanara can try to use Balatev as a pick. Will he make a surprise dive bomb down the inside? Not yet. Actually, he might take a look at it. Yes, he does.
Forces Balatev wide, but Balatev still takes that position.
And looking at Antanara trying to hold on to 4th place. He's gaining very good there. Now, if you want to talk about relative to other drivers here, relative to the previous drivers in this car, Sean Pauli and Sergei Petrov, Antanara has been showing a good amount of promise and potential in this ride. And now heading into basically the final third of this race, Antanara is still trying his best to finally clear Balatev, but with a good turn 16, he might just be able to clear Balatev into the main straight. Meanwhile, for Thompson, 143.223, 142.847 for Jeff Clark. As you can see here, a 4/10 faster Jeff Clark is relative to Charles Thompson, as Antanara finally is able to clear Daniel Balatev. But will Vladislav Damashnev be able to do the same? Miguel Castro, the last driver who have yet to pit. And looking at Miguel Castro, he has 7 laps of fuel to go. He might be pitting in the next 2 or 3 laps realistically, but we'll have to see how much Castro has lost his time. But still,
I hope he's not considering a last lap pit. That would be very stupid for him.
It won't be a last lap pit. He won't have enough fuel. But right now, Sean Pauli is catching up to Rakhimbayev. But right now, he's gonna try to make his moments in this racing series count. Obviously, his future is in doubt at the moment. He's got other commitments that he needs to deal with. So Sean Pauli trying to get some last few moments of his belt to try to hang it on. And Damasha trying to attack Althusser and Antanara. Not quite close enough. Not quite close enough for Damashnev. Antanara holds on to 4th.
Here they are coming to, I believe that's a Panasonic corner. Jeff Clark now 1 second behind of Thompson. Now actually 2 seconds behind of Thompson now. Losing a lot of time, I believe.
And Rakhimbayev closing into Miguel Castro, who has, remember, he has yet to pit. Every other driver has pitted except Miguel Castro. Richie Rod and Bon Air DNF from this race, obviously not doing much favors for Gen 1's representation. For at least they still have Vladislav Damashnev, who's currently inside of the top 5. And Rakhimbayev and Sean Pauli trying to find a way to get past Miguel Castro. Yukikaze Kai and Griffin Wheatley catching up to them. Both of them, both Nissans trying to catch the 2 Hondas, so obviously they have something to fight. Now, the last time the Honda won in Fuji was Mohammad Shazin Reza in the Himimori Luna Honda. That was in November. And as for the last time Nissan won, that was last year, when back then Gabriel Ariadne represented Tokino Sora he won for Nissan. And at least Nissan will have a representation on the podium with Charles Thompson putting up at least a good fight. He had led a good amount of this race, but of course it's going to be Kizuhara Leo who's going to be leading the most laps regardless of if Thompson is going to lead from this point on. But yeah, Kizuhara Leo showing a lot of dominance here as he's now finally being able to clear Kento Kai.
And now, as of now, Honda NSX on first place, the Nissan on second place, and the Lexus on third place.
And looking at the Mazda really getting close into Antana out there. Let's see if there can be any last lap shuffles. We're in the final 50 kilometers of this race. Will the Mazda make a surprise move onto Antana route? Will the Rosentai see the Mazda steal a 4th place? But especially take a look into Jeff Clark, because remember, if you want to take a look into the tires, Jeff Clark has 7 laps fresher tires than Charles Thompson. So no wonder Jeff Clark is doing the best he can to close a lot and to gain a lot of time onto Charles Thompson.
Slowly gaining the gap on Thompson now on the third sector. Definitely not a great place for Nissans.
Oh, and meanwhile, we do want to mention that the 57 car has passed the 56 car. Yukikaze Kai have passed Sean Pauli for position. And you can see here, Yukikaze Kai gains 8th place. And we told you there will be some kind of surprise that coming into the end of this race. Yukikaze Kai is on a flyer right now. Looking into the last lap. Yes, there is another battle here between Alexander Tanaro and... Oh, Alexander Tanaro going off wide, and that's going to undo his efforts to stay in 4th place. The Mazda is stealing 4th place, as we've mentioned earlier. And now Jeff Clark and Charles Thompson. Charles Thompson actually went off wide at turns 15 and 16, lost a good amount of time to Jeff Clark. Jeff Clark managed to get into the inside. Now Thompson's going to go for the counterattack.
He's going to go for it. Pulls out to this side, to the outside. Coming to the braking zones. Who's going to break it? It's going to be Thompson. It's going to be Jeff Clark, sorry. Thompson breaks first. Coming to the corner. Thompson's still first.
Yes, right now he is getting a pretty decent exit there off of turns 1 and 2. And Tanarov re-overtakes the Mazda for 4th place. But it's going to be the corners that will be the issue for the Nissans, because the Lexus cars are absolutely hounding the Nissans. Will Jeff go down the inside? Yes, he does. Will he be able to attack? Yes, he does. Will he be able to hang on?
Ross is there.
Hanging it around the outside, but it's not going to be enough. But he has the inside line still. He has a good run off of this corner, off the hairpin, also Antanaro and Jeff Clark as well. Miguel Castro, Yukikaze Kai. Miguel Kai is also on the run as well, trying to pass Andrew Akimbayev. Charles Thompson defending from Jeff Clark. Antanaro defending from Vladislav Domashnev. Look at this between Antanaro and Domashnev. Oh, a lot of curb there between for Domashnev, but manages to hang on. Jeff Clark again manages to overtake Charles Thompson. There's so many overtakes being done left, right, and center. Kai, oh, you can see here. Oh, you can see here Thompson nearly spun out. He made contact with Jeff Clark, and Jeff Clark manages to steal 2nd place. But obviously, he still has the Nissan of Muhammad Shakib Reza to pass. Obviously, Shakib Reza being the lap car. There's still a battle brewing.
Thompson there, even though losing it a lot, but luckily he was actually able to save the car and not making the history of Richard Broad the same.
And currently Rakimbayev is battling between himself and Wheatley into turns 12. Oh, you can see here a lot of jostling for position, and now Sean Pauli might be in the mix. There is a battle for 8th place brewing. You can see here Wheatley going off wide, and he could be under pressure for Sean Pauli. Rakimbai has a poor exit off of turn 14, heading into turns 15 and 16. Rakimbai goes off wide, but manages to keep the car within the boundaries. Sean Pauli, nearly losing his touch there, drops down back down to 10th place. Let's see if Wheatley can find a way to get past Wheatley, who's currently up to 8th place. Not bad for a Hololive GT3 debut. And as for Charles Thompson, here we see Jeff Clark being held up by Muhammad Shakib Reza. Thompson might be able to get Clark back.
goes Jeff Clark overtaking Shakib Reza. Thompson also doing the same. But I think he's gaining on their mind that exit there. Going for the curves. Ooh, a little bit oversteering.
Slightly going off wide. Slightly going off wide there, Charles Thompson, as he tries to limit the damage between himself and Jeff Clark, but Jeff Clark is already pulling away with the fresher tires. So Jeff Clark might be able to get second place, but the odds for him stealing first place from Gizahara Leo might be nigh impossible, as Jeff Gizahara is on a clinical performance as of right now.
24 seconds in front of Jeff Clark.
Lorenzo Ricci is now the next driver to may go a lap down. 10 cars may finish on the lead lap if Lorenzo Ricci is not careful. Obviously, Ricci trying his best to adapt to Lexus machinery after getting used to the Suisei Nissan for so long. Ricci obviously replacing Jake Fox after he announced that he's leaving the series. Lorenzo Ricci is doing very well as a substitution, as well as Miguel Castro. Miguel Castro have yet to pit, and Wheatley have also overtaken Rahim Bayev and Pauly. We also wanted to mention that. So the Nissans have basically overtaken the Hondas for the battle for 7th. Miguel Castro has 2 laps of fuel to go. He's really stretching his first stint. He's gonna go the longest that anyone has ever been on that first stint. And looking into the possible outcomes right now, Kai and Wheatley will get 6th and 7th. Kai and Wheatley will get 6th and 7th. Rahim Bayev and Pauly will get 8th and 9th. Ricci might be able to get inside the top 10 at this rate.
Unless Miguel Castro gets very low fuel, try to make the car light enough, and also gets soft tire, it's pretty much possible that Castro will not be staying at the top 10 anymore.
Akukana battle here between Yukikaze Kai and Wheatley here at the moment. Kai versus Wheatley for what should be a net 6th place. Both of them going hammer and thumb side by side, heading into the double up chicane. Wheatley has the inside line, manages to dive bomb down the inside of the Pecora Honda of Miguel Castro. Castro manages to hold on, stays into the outside line, but will Yukikaze Kai respond immediately? The answer is not quite, but you can see here the Pecora Honda is being pushed off wide here, and also Randy Rahim Bayev is now back into the mix. The battle is being rife here with Miguel Castro as a pick for the Hondas to get themselves back up. Rahim Bayev goes off wide, manages to keep the car clean,
and both for the next position.
And finally, Miguel Castro peels it into the pits, and Rahim Bayev going side by side with Yukikaze Kai. But Yukikaze Kai might have the slipstream to assist his defense. And there is another battle here between Antanara and Damashev. Antanara manages to steal back 4th place from Damashev. Damashev has the inside line, Antanara has the outside line. Can Antanara defend from the outside? Meanwhile, we're looking at Kai defending against Rahim Bayev. Damashev, takes a lot of curve. Damashev manages to keep the car safe, clearing Mohammad Shakib Reza. Rahim Bayev trying to defend against Yukikaze Kai. Rahim Bayev manages to defend, makes Kai think better off. Rahim Bayev now up to 7th.
Miguel Castro finally exiting the pits now at 12th position. Let's see if Alex Graham will be able to get him. If they drive down the main straight, well, that does not. Yeah, Castro doesn't really get it.
But manages to defend Alex Grant and Mohammad Shakib Reza. Good stuff from him. And Damashev actually managed to clear, Mohammad Shakib Reza, but Antanara didn't. So Damashev managed to actually defend 4th. We are now coming into the final 7 laps of this race. Still lots of action for everyone involved. So we hope you're still tuning into the Outright Parade 500 race at Fuji. And right now Antanara trying to barrel it down to Vladislav Damashev, and still Antanara hanging on to 5th place. Let's see if we can catch Damashev at the end.
as of now, I think everyone is gonna be able to get to the
finish.
To the points positions.
Yes, because Richie Rod and Bon Air have crashed out or spun out. This will mean that everyone still running in this race will be guaranteed points-paying positions. And as for Yukikaze Kai, he's sniffing into the gap between himself and Andrew Rakimbayev. Alex Grant is currently finding a way to get past Miguel Castro, who is currently holding up Jeff Clark. This is a battle between the lead lap cars and the lap cars. You can see Alex Grant is trying to fight Miguel Castro, and Jeff Clark is going to try to clear these drivers so that Charles Thompson will not have a say for second place.
Charles Thompson now 1 second behind of Jeff Clark now.
And right now, you can see Alex Grant actually trying to unlap himself from Jeff Clark, and that's going to cause headaches for Jeff Clark, as he's going to be under pressure from Lorenzo Ricci.
And he definitely is seeing Thompson right behind, right on the rearview mirrors saying, "Hello, I'm here."
And right now, Charles Thompson is also responding with a "Hi, I'm also here as well." Charles Thompson is going to go down the inside of Alex Grant to put him a lap down as well. Oh, there's contact between the two. And you can see, oh, very good save there by Charles Thompson. Very optimistic there for Thompson to dive down the inside of Coca-Cola corner. But that just didn't work out. And I think it looks like Jeff Clark has this in the bag. Half second in the bag.
4 seconds of gap. And 6 more laps to go.
Not looking good for Charles Thompson. He had the race in the bag. He had second place in the bag, but it's not worthwhile for him. Meanwhile, Daniel Balatev is passing Muhammad Shakib Reza on who gets 4 points and who gets 1 point. As of right now, Daniel Balatev is going to get the 4 points. As of right now, Kizuhara Leo is still leading this race. After 49 laps, we're on lap 50. Now on the main straight, he starts lap 51. 5 laps to go here in Fuji.
Leo is definitely very happy now to actually be able to win for Murasaki Shion. And especially seeing how this night Murasaki Shion will be starting her happy birthday stream.
And it's not just any birthday stream, it's a birthday live stream. That means she will be performing on stage. She has a few guests lining up, one of which is Hoshimaki Suisei. Charles Thompson will be joining Kizuhara Leo in the podium at this rate. But for how much, but let's see for how much longer right now. And as of right now, Jeff Clark is in second place, managing to hold on into where he has at the moment, and currently he's still stuck behind Miguel Castro. It's still not over yet for Charles Thompson, as he will want to try to clear Alex Grant. If Jeff Clark is still being stuck behind Miguel Castro, Alex Grant can try to put an offense into Jeff Clark and allow Charles Thompson to attack.
Thompson almost closing up to the gap, but now sadly goes back to 4 seconds now. And there's now about 5 laps to go. Basically, Thompson needs 1 second per lap of gain to be able to get very close to Jeff Clark.
And it's not looking very unlikely for Charles Thompson unless Jeff Clark makes a mistake in these final few laps. You can't count anything out of this race yet. You have seen everything from spins to crashes, basically anything in the boat. Yukikaze Kai is still trying to catch up to Andrew Rakimbayev in his final few laps. As of right now, for Momashaki Reza, he's looking to stay in 15th. Olate will look to stay in 14th. Alex Grant in 13th, maybe, unless he might want to try to overtake Castro in 12th place. Kento Kai will get in 11th place in his Hololive GT3 debut. And for Miguel Castro, his return to Hololive GT3 is pretty, considering that he was a last-minute substitution. He's doing very good, as well as Lorenzo Ricci trying to score a top 10 finish despite having Kizuhara Leo on his rearview mirrors. Sean Pauli, with his uncertain future coming about, Sean Pauli will still hold on to 9th place. Kento Kai in 8th place. Sorry, Yukikaze Kai trying to catch up to Andrew Rakimbayev in 7th. Let's see if he can make a last lap gas. Griffin Wheatley, known to be a quick learner and very good with the Nissan, is currently in 6th place. And Edison Tanneral tried to battle Vlasa Damasha with those final few laps, but it's not going the way of Antanara as far as he goes. He will stay in 5th place in car number 5 in his Hololive GT3 return for Nekomato Okayu. Valsa Damashev will hang on to 4th place as it stands in the Aki Rosenthal Lexus. But for Jeff Clark and Charles Thompson, looks like 2nd and 3rd is all but confirmed, as Charles Thompson is not able to basically claw a lot of battles here. And here we see Yukikaze Kai going side by side with Rahimbai. Let's see how they'll end up.
Versus Rakimbayev wide over to the outside, but now Rakimbayev also trying to gain a lot now.
And you can see here, both of them going off wide. But let's see how much Yukikaze Kai is struggling in this corner. Let's see how much Rakimbai is able to steal back. You can see both cars going off of the Coca-Cola corner. Just shows you how much they're pushing their cars.
Coming to the hairpin now, exiting the hairpin, heading to 300R.
And right now they're doing very well here to stay level. And looking at Rakimbayev, he's down in 8th place. And we're going to be continuing to... And right now Yukikaze Kai have completed his pass. We are currently on lap 53. He now puts Lorenzo Ricci a lap down. Only 9 cars on the lead lap as it stands. Oh, and look at Vlasa Damashnev. Vlasa Damashnev might be able to steal a podium position if Charles Thompson is unlucky. And look at this, Charles Thompson is absolutely struggling off the corner. And now Damashnev might want to have a sniff at 3rd place. He goes down the inside of the hairpin.
Side by side out of the hairpin now. Who's gonna take it? It's gonna be Thompson. It's gonna be Damashnev. Thompson now still in front of Damashnev now. Coming to the 300R and now exiting 300R actually. Coming into Dunlop corner. Brakes very hard. Damashnev not risking it at all.
Not risking it just yet, but he knows that he only has 2 attempts left to try to get past Charles Thompson. It could very well end up with a side-by-side finish for 3rd place. And you can see here, Damashnev making use of making use of Thompson going off wide. Thompson has the inside line, manages to hang on into turn 16, nearly loses the car and loses the 3rd place, but he has the straight line speed. Sure, Thompson has lost out, basically 3rd place right now, but he's not going to be shy to attack in these final few laps. Will Thompson give him the rebuttal? The gap is now dropped down to 3/10, but will he be close enough?
Gaining, he's still gaining, coming to braking zone, pulls out of there, goes for the curve, forces Damashnev wide.
Right now, coming to Coca-Cola corner. Yes, correct. But right now Thompson is gonna try to try to put in the right line here. Nearly goes off wide. He has the inside line, but Damashnev has the faster outside line. And right now Thompson is gonna try to attack, but it's not forthcoming for him. Damashnev steals 3rd place. What was a very good run for Thompson to stay in the podium position is coming to an end, and Vladislav Damashnev is on a run. Let's take a look back into the progress chart. He started 10th and is now up to 3rd.
Thompson now definitely frustrating now. He fought so hard for the 3rd position, but now loses it all.
But of course, but it's not over yet, because right now he's still stuck behind Alex Grant in that Yukihana Lamy Honda. It's the final lap for Kizuhara Leo for Murasaki Shion. Obviously, Kizuhara Leo needed this win. He has not won since last May at Sepang. He was representing Akai Hato. But now Kizuhara Leo is about to become another first-time winner in Hololive GT3. But let's take a look back into Vlasa Damashnev, who have already pulled up a good gap, 1 second over Charles Thompson. So it looks like the battle for 2nd as well for 3rd place have already been sealed shut for Kizuhara Leo. What can I say? He has been inconsistent at times.
Now.
Yes, he's losing the gap as well. But as for Kizuhara Leo, let's talk about the story of trials and tribulations. he had been very unlucky. He was very close to win a few times. He had a few third and second place finishes here in Fuji as well, but never a win. And he has never won in a Murasaki Shion Honda just yet. And what better day and what better way to give that first win on the same day Murasaki Shion is performing in the same day Murasaki Shion is about to perform in her birthday live tonight. Kizuhara Leo, representing the Purple Mage, Murasaki Shion. Kizuhara Leo exits turn 15 to finally, after all these years, and for the first time since last May for Kizuhara Leo, and for the first time in Hololive GT3, Kizuhara Leo is about to cross the line, a winner representing Murasaki Shion. He's going to cross the line to win the Split B race of the Our Bright Parade 500.
And 30 seconds in front of Joe Clark. That is a very, very big gap from him.
And dominant as well, but Charles Thompson might be able to steal something from Damashnev. If Damashnev isn't careful at the exit of turn 16, he might be able to steal third place at the line. And you can see here, Thompson getting a very good exit off of turn 15 as much as he can, but will it be enough? Jeff Clark will consolidate second place in the Nakiri-IMA Lexus. I believe it's the first podium for Jeff Clark. But for Vladislav Damashnev, the gap is closing down. Will Thompson be able to catch?
And sadly not. He's close, but
2.2 of a second between the two. If Damashnev had a poor exit, or Charles Thompson having a slightly better exit, it could have ended with Thompson pipping third place away from Damashnev. Alderson Tannerov finishes 5th in car number 5, Nekomato Akayu Nissan. Very good job from him. Griffin Wheatley in his Hololive GT3 debut, replacing Aquamarine Jensen, doing very well to hang on to whatever he has at the moment. Griffin Wheatley from Wales is going to be hanging on to 6th place in his Hololive GT3 debut, representing Minato Aqua. Yukikaze Kai back in the saddle, finishes 7th for Amane Kanata. Andrew Rakhimbayev, Sean Pauly, representing Okami Mio and Inugami Korone, respectively, will finish 8th and 9th.
Amazing race today.
And yes, it's an amazing race, but we'll need to get ourselves back into the transition as well, so that we do not have a bit of an issue here. Let's take a look back into who is currently finishing this race. We have confirmation that we have Lorenzo Ricci finishing 10th place. And then we have a few more drivers that we need to confirm. And I think that looks like the end of this race. It's been a very wonderful race that we've had at the moment. And right now, we're looking at Kento Kai and Miguel Castro crossing across the line in 11th and 12th. Here's both of them clearing them as well. And that's the end of this race here in Sepang. Let's take a look back at the results, because it's a very momentous win for Kizuhara Leo. In the Murasaki Shion Honda, for the first time representing her, and for the first time for the number 8 Honda, finishes as a winner. And then we have Jeff Clark, 2nd place in the Nakiri-IMA Lexus, in the number 18 Lexus. Vladislav Damashnev pips Charles Thompson Charles Thompson from his podium. He steals 3rd, representing Aki Rosenthal in the number 19 Lexus. Charles Thompson started on pole. Was a contender for the race lead, but had a falling down in the second stages in the second half of this race. He finishes 4th. Alderson and Tannerov finishes 5th in car number 5, Nekomato Akayu in the Nissan. Griffin Wheatley in his Hololive GT3 debut in the Minato Aqua Nissan finishes 6th. Yukikaze Kai in the Amane Kanata Nissan will finish 7th. And Rakhimbayev, Sean Pauly finishes 8th and 9th in the Okami Mio and Inugami Korone Honda respectively. Lorenzo Ricci in the Hoshimarine Lexus finishes inside the top 10 in his Hololive GT3 return. Kento Kai in his Hololive GT3 debut representing Shishiro Bota, and he finishes 11th. Miguel Castro, it's a good way to kick the year of the rabbit, kick off the year of the rabbit, but much would need to be done. But then again, he's only a temporary driver. He finishes 12th in the Osada Pecora Honda. Alex Grant in the number 63 Yukihana Lamy Honda in 13th. Then Bolativ in the newly sponsored with the new sponsor. Then Bolativ finishes 14th in the number 10 Tokoyami Toa Honda. Momashaki Reza finishes down in 15th in the Momosuzu Nene Nissan. Richie Rod basically spun out of turn 16, resulting in a DNF for Richie Rod, representing Shiragami Fubuki. And Bon Air got collected in a turn 1 crash that knocked him out of contention before he could even complete the first lap. So let's take a look into the replays here, and let's take a look at Bon Air in particular, because Bon Air started up front, because from what I could see, he started P6, but to see him drop down to 17th is absolutely unfortunate for him. So let's take a look back into the replays. So let's take a look here. Okay, let's take a look into the start. So, Sean, let's see how well you can try to make up of this incident right here between Bon Air and everyone else.
Bon Air trying to go for the middle side of the 3 wide, actually, yeah, 3 wide.
Yeah, got collected by Rakim Bayev. Lost control, collected by Antanarao. That's where the left side damage came. Very unfortunate.
I think he was, yeah. He turned left, probably trying to correct his understeer.
And yeah, then there was another bit of contact. Let's take a look back. This time we're looking at Rakim Bayev's onboard. Here it is. Rakim Bayev, the turn 1. You can see here, Rakim Bayev is behind. Oh yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he just went for it. It's not about him correcting the. It's not about him correcting the understeer. It's about Bon Air trying to basically correct his car, and obviously that didn't work out for him. So let's take a look back into Bon Air, and especially the onboard on his rear end. So let's take a look back at the start. Here's the onboard for Bon Air, and as you can see.
Line goes for the middle. Bon Air on inside of him.
Yeah, he did outbrake Rakim Bayev there, but then
he got turned, trying to avoid him again, and get hit by the other guy.
And turn around in the Okayu Nissan. Yes, that is very unfortunate for Bon Air, but such is racing. You don't usually get off that easily. But let's take a look back into Richie Rod versus Sean Pauli there, especially in the final 2 corners. Let's take a look back.
Here we go, Sean Pauli going very wide, trying to take the corner as much as he can. Richie Rod got hit a little bit. Then also tries to go wide, rides the curve too much, right on the green patch, spawns out.
Very unfortunate there for Richie Rod, because he was a contender for what should be 8th place or 9th place here. So let's take a look back into the replays once again to see the onboards on Richie Rod, especially on the final 4 corners of that lap 33. Here's the onboard.
Yeah, you can see he ride too much of that curve. Rides too much on this curve too. Yeah, right there. It's basically actually riding that curve is actually fine, but when your tire goes on the green patch, everything just turns. The grip, everything will just lose instantly.
A very good insight there from Sean Goliath there, as we're about to show you guys the championship standings. Obviously, it's going to be slightly skewed due to a bit of an inaccurate way of our client to record the point standings. But I think it's mostly correct. So let's just share you the championship standings here as it stands coming into the end of round 1. We'll be showing you the full standings on my Twitter, Adak-RMS. Feel free to check it out. So here it is. Kizuhara Leo finally leads a championship in the Murasaki Shion Honda with the momentous win at Fuji. Jeff Clark will hang on to 2nd place in the Nakiri IMA Lexus. Vladislav Damashev in 3rd in the Aki Rosenthal, Lexus, and Charles Thompson just missed out on the podium. He will go back stronger in the next race at Sepang. In the number 41 Hoshimachi Suisei Nissan. Car number 5, Nekomata Kayu Nissan. Alto Santana is currently 5th in the standings. And then we also have Griffin Wheatley in his Hololive GT3 debut, as well as Yukikaze Kai, who's returning, representing Minato Aqua and Amane Kanata respectively. They're doing very well for their own as well. And Joaquin Bayo and Sean Pauli representing Okami Mimio and Inugami Korone respectively. They're also doing very well. And for Sean Pauli, I don't know about Sean Pauli. He said that he isn't currently entering in an uncertain future, but whatever the case is, this might be his final Hololive GT3 race, and to see him finish inside the points is nice. But we'll keep you updated after this. Lorenzo Ricci in his Hololive GT3's return, subbing basically as a replacement for Jake Fox, finishes 10th. Kento Kai replacing Thomas Snooks in the Shishiro Botan Lexus finishes 11th. Miguel Castro replacing Catherine Vasilieva in the Sada Pecora Honda finishes 12th. Alex Grant in basically P13 in the Yukihana Lamy Honda is currently at 8 points. Daniel Bolatev in the Tokoyami Toa Honda is currently 14th in the standings with only 4 points. And Mohamed Shakir Reza, the one who has 1 point on his credit, the last driver to classify, is in 15th place. And of course we have Richie Rod and Bon Air not being able to score points due to them having crashes. So obviously with that out of the way, we would like to end this stream here. We also would like to mention that the next race of Hololive GT3 will be at Sepang International Circuit, which will be on May 6th and May 7th. The Sepang 500, it will be a knockout round, so stay tuned to the proceedings to see what happened to them as well. As we're about to go into a different format the next time we'll be racing Hololive GT3 Japan. But then we also have next week is the debut of Formula Hololive, and this time we will have at least 50 cars entered. So stay tuned for the Formula Hololive's debut coming into the same weekend as the Super Expo and the Ford Festival. And with that out of the way, let's end the commentary right here. We hope you've been enjoying the Hololive GT3 streams we've been putting up over this past weekend. I am Mama Shadrin Reza, and alongside me is Sean Goliath in the commentary booth, and you have been watching the 2023 Hololive GT3 Japan Series season opener, the Our Bright Parade 500 at Fuji.
Thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, okay. I've already muted the desktop audio and the intro. So yeah. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to tell you this. First of all, thank you for basically having my back after such a torrential 3 days. But obviously, you're doing a very good job there trying to alleviate the pain that I've been having right now, and to see at least a few people supporting me throughout my ordeal, the change and all that stuff is, well, I appreciate it so much. Even if there are a lot of people that are against me treating my efforts to change as a joke, the only way I can do this is to prove them wrong. And obviously, I'm still thinking if I should return to them or not. But given that I am being bad mouth over there, I'm not going to immediately return after my ban is lifted. But yeah, I'm gonna end this broadcast soon. But yeah, as of right now, there is still a lot of uncertainty as to who is staying, because I have no clue on who is staying and who is not staying. But right now, it's quite consistent. It's quite consistent right now. We have lost a good amount of members, and I think since we've already finished round 1, I can now finally put Griffin Wheatley in the Kazama Iroha Nissan. Hang on, I'm gonna need to adjust the names. And okay, don't worry. First time commentary is always like this. So So yeah, it happens. So yeah, and to see you also sub in, there's a guy named Zeke Wimberly. It was supposed to be a three-man commentary booth, but obviously, due to his status in OKBH and due to him wanting to stay involved with OKBH, he will want to quote unquote suspend himself from operations here, but said that he will not leave the series, but he will want to stay a low profile though. But yeah. So yeah, okay. So right now I'm going to continue